Welcome back. The doctor is in. Today I'm talking about writing for BattleTech, Technical Readout 3145, The Clans. This was the last of the faction PDF products in the TRO 3145 series that I worked on. There was another volume that followed this one called TRO 3145, The Republic. However, I did not write any of the units that appeared in that PDF, so this was the last volume in the PDF series that I contributed to. After the series was over, they took all of the units from the PDFs and collated them into a single print volume, Technical Readout 3145. However, there were a few units that did not appear in the print version, and those, I believe, all appeared in the print version of Technical Readout 3150. This product I actually remember writing for, perhaps because I had 6 units that I wrote in this book. But what's interesting is I only have one file in the folder for this product, and it's just the draft that I wrote for these units. So I can't really offer any commentary on whether I requested these or if they were assigned to me. I'm pretty sure that there were fewer authors on this one, and so I think that's why I ended up with 6 units, which is the most I had in any of these PDFs. There were only 6 authors on this product, and I don't know what the spread was between the various authors as to how many units everybody got. I don't remember, and I don't have any evidence to support anything about whether or not I pitched for these units or requested them, or if they were simply assigned to me. All I know is I wrote them. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I wrote the BURAD Fast Battle Armor. This was an interesting battle armor. It was, I believe, the first quad battle armor that I ever got to write, and it may be the only one. Now, what I want to point out here is that everything is fairly standard as far as the deployment. I want to talk about the notable units. So, Star Commander Shifty. This character is named after the cat I had at the time. So this was written back in 2013. Shifty, he died last year at age 15. So this is one of these ways I was able to immortalize my cat. I had him for 15 years from the time he was just a tiny little kitten. And he made it all the way till 2019. Cancer. So I'm glad that there's something in here referring to his genetic superiority, because he was an amazing cat. I miss him, and maybe pour one out for him if you're so inclined. The next unit I wrote for this was the SKADI Swift Attack VTOL, and I suspect perhaps I got this one because my last name appears in the name of the unit. So Swift is my actual last name, and the fact that it appears in the unit, I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but it's something funny I can say if anybody asks. In this case, what I'm looking at is I'm pretty sure I created this mercenary unit in the first paragraph under deployment called the Glorious Kensai, and it's one I've never referred to other than this that I can remember. But it's a cool name. I like the sound of it. I always like throwing in adjectives if possible. It's not always good to limit yourself to alliteration. A lot of mercenary units and other combat commands in BattleTech have alliterative names. Even my own mercenary unit, Holt's Hilltoppers, I gave it alliteration as a way of mocking alliteration when I did it, because I hate alliteration, but I did that for my home game, never realizing I'd be able to put them into canon. However, so under under notable units, Stokes Flight, I refer again to the Glorious Kensai, and this is basically folks who captured some of these VTOLs from the clans, because this is obviously the clan TRO entries. So that was a way I could throw some inner sphere units into a clan technical readout. Let's see what I had next on here was the SKANDA light tank. Now this one I don't really remember writing. Now what I can say is under notable units, the fact that I have somebody here named Buzzsaw Jones who is a Solaris stunt driver, that is definitely something, that's the type of name I would come up with, making him a Solaris driver as the only notable unit for a clan tank in this TRO is the type of thing I would do. I'm much more of an inner sphere player. I always fought against the clans whenever I played for the most part. I referred to the incinerators. I believe that's a unit I referred to previously in one of the other TROs. You might go back and listen to those videos if you haven't. And here I talk about the Wolf Guard. So here I'm trying to throw in some of the more recent combat that occurred just before this TRO's compilation in universe, and that is my attempt to put some urgency, some immediacy to the entry in this case. And what have we got next? So otherwise I don't really have much to say about the SKANDA. Now here's one that I don't remember at all. It's the Gravedigger. And if I hadn't seen that it was in my draft file, I wouldn't have remembered writing it, which is strange because it's a very distinctive name. And what gets me is, with a name like Gravedigger, I can tell you that I would have wanted to write it like a monster truck because, I mean, that's the name. So here's what I've got is, I've got for the first paragraph under deployment, again, I refer to the Victoria War, which is the chapter I wrote in Wars of the Republic era. I refer to Pharaoh's Arrows, which is a mercenary unit I created. Here they didn't fare too greatly. The Pharaoh's Arrows didn't do too well in the Victoria War. There's a story about that I'll get to when I cover that book. Let's see, we've got fairly... And the reason that I can refer to the Victoria War is because this is an old unit that is only just now getting a TRO entry. And if you look at the notable units, Lieutenant Xanth Kulturo, again, I threw an inner sphere pilot in under the notable units, again, kind of thumbing my nose at the clans by making the notable unit of a clan unit an inner sphere pilot. Now, what I do remember about this book in particular, if you see now on the screen, is the Vulture 3. I do remember this, and I remember the next one, the Loki 2. And the only reason I remember is because I was excited to write something that tied in with the original Clan Omnimex. So the Vulture, which some people call the Mad Dog, was, of course, the original, or one of the original Omnimex in TRO 3050. Here I got to write a later, arguably improved version, and I was excited about that. What you should notice is that the word count for this one was greatly reduced because of the extra information block on the right. So this one, I had very little space, and you can see I pretty much crammed it full because I don't like to shortchange. Now, the fact that there is a blank space in the bottom right, that's a layout issue because they want that column of text to be by itself on these units. So there's nothing really I could have done about that. And let's go ahead and move on to the Loki 2. And again, now this time, I think because the tech block was smaller, they were okay with, or maybe it's just not always the case that they want to limit the tech block by itself. Again, that's going to come down to word count. So It could be that I overwrote on this one, and this was the only way to do it without cutting out everything I had written. I'm not entirely certain. But here I've got Wolves in Exile, I've got Hell's Horses. So if you're familiar with what happened around this period, the Jade Falcons, along with the Hell's Horses, invaded the Lyran Commonwealth, and they were using what's called the Mongol Doctrine, and they were just slaughtering everyone in their path. And that's an interesting topic to write about, and you'll find that I wrote a lot of material about the Falcons and the Hell's Horses for these various TRO entries whenever I was going to write something about what the clans were doing. So that's what is taking place in the first paragraph here, I believe, under deployment. Anyhow, that's all I've got for this particular TRO. I'm already over 11 minutes, so I'm going to be brief. If you're interested in my writing, why not check out my newest book, Cats of War 2. It's also been 1 year since Cats of War came out. It'll also be on the author link that I have posted below the video. Both of these books have 4 all-original tales of military fantasy and military science fiction. I'm really proud of them. I hope you'll give them a look. And for now, that's everything I've got for you. The Doctor is out.